This is a T422 production.
If you want to talk some Simpsons, we do it with distinction. Insert brain here. With Springfield in our vision, our spirit is embiggened. Insert brain here. Flanders, Quimby, Otto, Man, the Hasapima, Battle on. Insert brain here. We've got Simpsons to ponder. Here comes David and Connor. Insert brain here.
Welcome back to Insert Brain Here, a Simpsons podcast. I'm your host Connor, and with me, for the last time this season, you know him and you love him, it's David.
That's me.
Today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 22, the season finale, Blood Feud. Original air date the 11th of July, 1991.
Nice.
It is time for you to tell me, what did you think this episode of The Simpsons was about? What's your memory of this episode of The Simpsons? What happens in it? Recap it briefly for the people at home who couldn't be fucked opening Disney Plus and watching the episode for themselves.
Yeah. Right, so this episode,
Mr. Burns,
yes.
Oh, they've just unveiled a new sign outside. I'm glad I'm taking over already.
Yeah.
David,
I remember the sign.
I'll start you off.
Okay, good.
I'll get your balls rolling.
Yeah, they're already rolling down the inside of my trouser leg.
They just came out the bottom.
Yeah.
They rolled down the hall into the fridge. They've just unveiled a new sign outside of the Springfield nuclear power plant.
Yes.
To let people know what the state of the power plant is.
Yeah.
Take it from there, David. Mr. Burns hasn't shown up.
No, he's so Mayor Quimby is announcing this sign and announces the fact that Mr. Burns is supposed to be here, which worries Smithers because he wouldn't not be here.
Yeah.
So
aye.
Smithers goes to check on Mr. Burns and finds him on the floor.
Twitching and fidgeting and dying.
And so he gets Dr. Hubbard out to have a look at him, checks him over, and he says that, I can't remember the name of the condition. It's lack of blood. What is that condition called again? Do you remember what it's called?
Hemophiliac. Globalism.
Globalism. A lack of blood. Globalism.
Hold on a second. Lack of blood is
Medical.
called anemia. That's not what they said in the episode.
That is not what they said
They said
in the episode.
hemophilia.
Yeah, aye.
Hemoglobin is the protein contained in red blood cells that is responsible for delivery of oxygen to the tissue.
Okay, well that would
Hold on a
make
second.
sense.
Hold on, I'm still researching here. I'm like the NHS, slow and useless.
And has to Google every fucking symptom.
You know what? I think it's not a real thing
Okay.
because I'm googling what should cause that name to pop up, and I'm getting nothing in response. So my
Very
assumption is that they made it up for the episode.
Fair enough. What I would assume is the fact that maybe it's the hemoglobin he's low on. I'm not
It's
sure.
not got enough blood, basically.
Yeah. So basically it would be solved with a blood transfusion.
Yes, that's right. But Mr. Burns has O negative blood, which is very rare.
Yeah, incredibly rare blood. And so he does an announcement through the factory.
Mr. Smithers.
Yeah, Mr. Smithers saying
Yes.
about the fact that Mr. Burns is in a bad way, needs blood. There's a blood drive van. If you have O negative, go.
Yeah.
Do it, please, basically.
Save his life.
Everyone's mocking about it. Homer's like, yes.
Because
Moneymaker. So he goes home to Marge and asks what blood type am I? He's like A positive or something.
Yeah.
Not the correct blood type. But Marge actually points out that Bart is, in fact, O negative.
Yes. So
So-
he is a match for Mr. Burns.
Perfect.
Homer convinces Bart to give some blood to Mr. Burns with a weird story that we'll dive into later on.
Yeah, some
Hercules
shit about
pulls
Hercules
the big
and a
thorn out
thorn.
of a lion's paw or some such.
Some shit, yeah.
And he says you'll get a lot of riches if you give your blood to Mr. Burns, who is a very rich man.
Exactly, you'll get a massive reward. So he donates the blood. Mr. Burns feels a lot better.
Yes.
As new lease of life kind of thing.
Hmm.
Sends him off a a wee treat in the post, as he says,
A little card.
and it turns out just to be a card.
And Homer is
It says, "Thank you."
enraged. He didn't get any kind of anything.
Yeah, no check, no promises of riches, no
Not even
nothing.
a bonus at work.
Nothing.
Or some time
Absolutely
off.
nothing.
Nothing.
Half-day paid holiday, nothing.
Aye, nothing. Probably didn't even pay for the proper postage for that card.
Probably not.
Did
It'll
that
be
thing where you don't pay enough, then the person who receives it has to pay to receive it.
Yeah.
Absolute scum behaviour.
Yep. So Homer's enraged, and because of that, dictates a letter to Bart.
Yes.
Starts out nice, and then
In
nasty.
case you couldn't tell, I was being sarcastic, and he
Precisely.
calls Mr. Burns a mummy and says he smells like an elephant's butt, and a
Yeah.
whole bunch of other insulting things, buck-toothed.
Yeah, liver spots, all that good stuff. Homer gets convinced by Marge not to post the actual letter, even though he's
Yeah.
determined to do it.
He's
But
at
he
the
gets
letterbox ready to
He
put
gets
it in,
convinced.
but he gets
not to.
convinced. It's like, just sleep on it and wait and see how you feel tomorrow.
Exactly. And tomorrow, he agrees. He goes, nah, that was a bad idea.
I'm glad
Glad I
I
didn't
have
post
you,
it.
Marge.
Yeah. Bart, on the other hand, posts the letter,
Yes.
knowing what Homer's like.
So Homer's trying to retrieve it before it reaches Mr. Burns.
Yep, tries to flood it up. Unfortunately, the mail lady picks it up.
Yeah, catches him in the act.
Yep. He tries a few other attempts at trying to get a letter back, fails.
Goes to the
and-
post office and says, "Hello, my name is Mr. Burns." That doesn't work.
No, it does not. So he ends up in Mr. Burns' office,
Yes.
where Mr. Burns catches him there. And he's like, oh, it's a letter from you. I'll read it now.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, reads the letter, is enraged, has Homer thrown out,
Yeah.
dragged off in arm lock. Tells Smithers to basically have him beaten. To a
Yes,
bloody
Mr.
pulp.
Burns tells Smithers have Homer Simpson beaten to a pulp.
Exactly. So Smithers doesn't actually have Homer beaten.
No.
And he approaches Mr. Burns about the fact that he did disobey his sort of direct order, I guess.
Yes.
And Mr. Burns is actually happy about it. He's like, don't worry about it, basically.
You're the yin to my yang,
Precisely.
Smithers. You've
You were the cool head to my aggressive.
my unwielding rage.
Yes, that's it.
Let's get the
so-
Simpsons a
yeah,
gift.
let's get them a good gift. And
We'll
they
go to the Springfield Mall.
They go around a big mall, through a bunch of shops. They get to what Mr. Burns decides is the perfect
What's
gift.
the name of the shop, David?
Pilfering Pete's or something like that.
Oh, you're so close.
I am.
Plundering Pete.
Plundering Pete's. That's it.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have to give you a wrong on that one.
Of course. It was close, though. It was
Yeah, it
close.
was very close. I only asked
It
because
was
you
along
said
the
it.
right sort of thing.
You said it. You
I
said it.
Mike
I wanna
Tyson over here.
I want to fucking bite this and chew it. You said it earlier on when we were watching the episode, after the episode had finished, and we
Yeah.
were walking through the halls to our recording studio.
Yes. Yeah, I did indeed.
Turned
And I
to
completely
me
forgot about it.
apropos of nothing and said, "Plunderer Pete," and then
And then
I didn't
rocked in
respond
here.
because I did not respond to conversation prompts off air.
Gotta keep all this comedy gold
It's
for recording.
This is a job for me and nothing more.
Oh, fucking hell. Mr. Burns has delivered to the Simpsons family home somehow. It doesn't
How
fit
does
through
it
the
get
door,
in the
but
living
whatever.
room?
Semantics,
Okay.
right?
Hold on, I'm gonna write
It's a
that down.
massive box. It gets delivered into the sitting room. They pop it open. It's a gift for the Simpsons.
Hey, what is it, David?
And it is an Olmec head.
Yes.
A big carved rock, basically in the shape of a head.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's basically the episode.
Mr. Burns
They-
leaves and
they-
Homer is annoyed that they got a giant rock head
Yep,
and no riches or money or anything like
precisely. And they just sit there having their TV dinners in front of
that. The giant
the
Olmec
giant
head.
head because they can't see the TV.
You think they could have sold the head?
They easily could. It was like $32,000 to buy.
It was one of those things where it costs $32,000, but
But it's
the
worth
moment
nothing.
the moment you buy it, it's worthless.
Yeah, I think your best bet would be to sell it to like the Smithsonian or something.
They don't fucking want it.
Yeah, they would take something like that.
No.
They would. They steal it enough. So
Yeah, that's different though. That's for the fun of the game. Well, that was a great recap,
Yeah,
David.
yeah.
You've outdone yourself.
I have. I've
One of your best recaps, and it took 45 minutes.
good. All right, so this has been Insert Brain.
Not yet, David. You forgot about da 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 da. That's the sound of Ion Springfield, the segment of the show where I go over characters who made their first appearance in this episode of The Simpsons.
Correct.
David.
Yes.
First appearance of Joey Crusher.
Joey Crusher. Is that the guy that escorts Homer off the property?
Yes, good
Yeah.
job.
Nice.
First appearance, David, of Mr. Roman.
Mr. Roman. Is he the ghostwriter?
Yes, he is, David.
Nice.
First appearance, David, of Extapoloctopopodol.
Try that again.
Text.
Text to speech.
Speech.
Yep. Copy and paste that shit in there.
Oh my god. I almost had an aneurysm trying to read that. Steploposidal, David. Who is Steploposidal?
Is that the giant Olmec head?
It is!
Very good. All that.
Oh, that's getting cut out. David, who is Stepoloptible?
That is the Olmec head.
That's almost the Olmec head, because I think I said it wrong.
Right, very good.
Do you want to take a stab in the dark at how that's spelled?
No, not in the slightest.
I'll give you a clue. It begins with an X and it ends in an L.
Great. Only 17 letters in the middle.
And there's a P in it. There's two P's and a L in there.
Nice. Nope. I'm not guessing that shit.
David, who is Osvaldo?
Osvaldo.
Osvaldo.
Friggin' hell could that be?
Take a stab in the dark. Throw it at a random person.
Try to think of anyone that isn't someone we've already seen.
This is the last one, David. You could
Get a 5 for 5 or 4 for 4 or whatever the fuck it is.
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
You're 3 for 4 right now. Get that number up on screen. Because there's no video element to this show yet.
Yeah.
But imagine it in your head. Picture it in your mind's eye.
Picture it now.
3 out of 4.
Osvaldo.
Perfect marks in the balance. He is a physical person who does appear in the episode. He isn't in a flashback or anything like that. He's in real time.
Okay.
He interacts with main characters. He has a speaking role. He does say lines. He's only in one scene. Near the middle of the episode.
The bit I don't remember.
The bit you skipped over in your recap.
Yep.
The middle of the episode. What happens in the middle of the episode? What's going on there? What state are the characters in?
Middle of the episode.
Think of the characters.
Mr. Burns is skipping through.
Mm-hmm. That's the right. You're in the right period.
Is
of
it the guy who Mr. Burns first talks to?
No.
fuck.
Wrong.
God damn it.
His name is said in the episode. If you remember correctly, when Mr. Burns is skipping through, he specifically can't remember anyone's name. He calls
right.
Lenny Brown Shoes.
Yeah.
So who does Mr. Burns say the name of around about that point when he's feeling better? I'm helping you a lot here. I really want you to get full marks.
It's not full marks. I've already guessed wrong.
Get 3.
I'd say 3 out of 4.
I'd say you get 3 guesses before I give up on you. That's a new rule I'm introducing.
Fair enough. Okay.
I did considering a 60-second timer at one point.
Oh, fucking. We might need to introduce it because it's fucking going.
2 more guesses left before you're fucked.
Yep. The hell happens at the end of that scene? He's skipping through.
So around about that scene, it's the period in the episode where Mr. Burns is feeling rejuvenated and healthy.
Right.
What does he do? I don't know if any of this can make it in the episode because it's not very
Yeah,
interesting.
shite.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
Hold on.
It's gone. It's all gone.
You're not even going to use your other two guesses?
Nah, I've got nothing.
We need like a catchphrase for when you give up. Something along the lines of wrong-o.
I don't know. I've limp dicked it.
You did it all for the nookie because you limp dicked it. Osvaldo is the guy that Mr. Burns plays squash with.
Oh, fuck. Is that even squash? Because it's like...
Whatever that fucking sport is. You know the guy
like
that I mean.
It's like lacrosse, handball, squash.
Yeah.
It's weird
And the
as
guy's
shit.
dressed like...
Right. That's where Mr. Burns does like a backward somersault to catch the fucking ball.
And the guy's like, holy shit.
Yeah. Right.
The guy's kind of dressed like James Caan in Rollerball for some reason.
Yeah.
It's a little Aspel reference for you there.
Yeah.
3 out of 4 is not bad, but it's not full mark, so
It
no
is indeed
prize. That's the end of Ion Springfield. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Very good. That was good.
Mm.
That was good.
Mm.
I'm still surprised I got the first 3, to be honest.
You did really well that Ion Springfield.
Yeah.
But
Shame I didn't get Osvaldo.
I thought for sure you would have done.
I completely... As soon as you mentioned about the squash thing,
Yeah.
I remembered trying to log that existed.
So you looked at
In
me when
there-
that character appeared on screen, and I thought that's you logging it for Ion Springfield.
No, I didn't. I didn't log it for Ion Springfield. I forgot about that part. What I did do... Not that Ion Springfield existed.
We're only 37 episodes in.
Not that Ion Springfield existed. More along the lines of the fact that I was trying to log that because I was like, what even is that sport? I can't remember what the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
It's basically like hand lacrosse because it's not a full lacrosse stick. It's just like a mitt with a big curve of the lacrosse sort of.
That's why I was saying
plastic
it's
net,
like
I guess.
Rollerball with James Caan from
Yeah,
1975.
If you just sharpen the edge of that fucker, then yeah, it would be like rollerball.
If you haven't already, check out Rollerball.
It's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, not the remake.
No.
Watch the original 1975 film.
Yeah.
Directed by Norman Jewison.
Yeah. Oh, who's in the remake again? What's
I
that?
want to say it's nobody.
Nobody that anyone knows.
Either that or it's Jason Statham.
No,
But
no.
I'm thinking
it's-
of Death Race remake.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's the guy that plays the Count of Monte Cristo, I think. What's his fucking name?
Oh, the bad guy from one of the Zorro movies. No, you're wrong. It's Chris Klein from famous American Pie star.
Really?
Yep. You know who else is in that movie?
Oh, fuck.
Jean Reno and LL Cool
Yeah,
J. Oh,
yeah.
and Rebecca Romijn,
Yeah,
who was
yeah.
Mystique in X-Men 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Guess the
Fucking
Rotten
hell.
Tomatoes score for the Rollerball remake, David.
64?
3.
Fuck. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
The
bad.
original has a 67. And I
Oh.
think it deserves more.
Yeah. I feel like we should do a Chris Klein podcast because I have at least 4 of his movies.
Chris Klein's not in all of the American Pie films.
I was going to say, I have at least 4 of his movies. You know what we could do? Fuck Chris Klein. What we could do
we could
instead...
fuck Chris Klein, you're right.
We could. We've got a casting couch chair, so we can do it. No, I was thinking more. We could do an American Pie podcast. We could do something like that.
Blind mice trivia.
And that's Connor Cumming and Chris Klein.
No, David, that's the sound of 3 blind mice trivia.
Yeah.
That's the trivia segment of this podcast.
Yes, it is.
David,
Well,
I have a
hit me.
special surprise for you today.
Oh, fucking hell. What's this?
Am I doing this episode? I
Don't
think
know.
I am.
Yeah?
David,
What?
I'm giving you 3 Blind Mice trivia.
Really?
You're going to read out 3 Blind Mice trivia
For the first time.
for the first time. There's 13 points.
Holy shit.
I was going to save this until season 3, but fuck it.
Pass me the laptop of power.
Okay, David, hit me with that first piece of trivia.
I need to read the fucker first.
Maybe we'll do this from now on. Every second episode we'll swap over who does trivia. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
I like to try new things
Yeah.
in the bedroom.
Yes.
Getting pegged.
I was not expecting that one. And that's what you said.
When I saw the one with the spikes that was 18 inches long, I said, I wasn't expecting that one.
Probably we start with a bit of gaping first.
Stretch me out first, come on. Treat me like a princess at least.
No, you're getting spit lube instead.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was trivia.
Trivia. So the
Trivia.
first point in trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Feud was part of the season 2 production run, but was completed behind schedule. It was originally broadcast on July 11th, 1991, as part of Fox Network's premiere week.
Yes,
Fox aired new episodes of several of its top shows, including The Simpsons, Beverly Hills 90210, in hopes of expanding the normal 30-week primetime season and gaining new viewers for the fall. Although 3 Men and a Comic Book was the official season 2 finale, Blood Feud is considered part of the second season and was included in the complete second season DVD box set.
that's interesting. I wonder, was there a big gap? I can't remember what air
what was
date.
the air date? The 9th of May. There is
So
a big
yeah,
gap.
there was about a month.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even clock that to begin with.
Yeah, me neither. All right, cool.
So there
So-
was about a month between the season 2 quote unquote finale
And
this
then
sort
this,
of between seasons episode.
yeah, this wasn't really part of season 2. It's just included in season 2. The other one was the actual official finale.
Yeah.
So the story was inspired by one of the producers needing a blood transfusion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently so.
I think it's always interesting how when you have a writer's room like this, the real life experiences that they go through bleed over, pun intended, into the show and sort of inspire certain episodes or colour certain
Sort of
experiences
aspects.
that the characters have.
Yeah. I think it's really quite interesting. Sort
Yeah.
of brings it a bit more alive.
Makes it a bit closer to people's real lived experiences.
Yeah. Another point, Dan Castellaneta read Mr. Burns and Smithers at the table read because Harry Shearer was unavailable.
Oh, nice. Dan Castellaneta usually voices Homer
Yeah.
and Abe Simpson, a bunch of other characters.
Yeah. But not Mr. Burns and Smithers. But obviously,
No,
Shearer
that's
was
Harry
unavailable.
Shearer, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. I see how hard it is how easy it is to fall into the trap of just saying, that's interesting. After every point of trivia.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's other examples of that happening. I feel like I've heard Nancy Cartwright has done Marge.
Right. I think
at
so.
some point. I saw a video on her Instagram account of her doing her Marge.
Ah, right.
She was like, sometimes at the table reads, if Julie Kavner isn't available, she'll
just
fill in and cover
Right,
up. Or
right.
maybe it wasn't Nancy Cartwright. Maybe it was someone else.
Hmm.
Maybe it was Yardley Smith. We both have
idea.
Simpsons
Right.
voice actors that we struggle to say the names of.
Yep.
Yours is Dan Castellaneta and mine's is Yardley Smith.
Yardley Smith. I like how I can say it. And
Smith is
and
fine.
You can
I
say
can say
Castellaneta.
Smith.
Oh, fucking shit.
But I can't say Yardley.
Yeah.
Yardley.
I have no idea.
Good.
Harry Shearer voices Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Smithers, and Dr. Hibbert, meaning the scene with the 3 characters features himself talking to himself, seamlessly transitioning between the voices.
There's been a few scenes like that
Yeah.
over the years. And then there's one where they make a point of having every character that Hank Azaria voices talk to each other in
Yeah.
like a later season.
Yeah.
I say it's like comic book guy, Professor Frank, Mo, Apu, and Chief Wiggum.
Yeah.
And if you're, he does other characters, but
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
the main ones. I think there's a scene where at least a few of those guys talk to each other. And obviously, Nancy Cartwright does Bart and Nelson,
Yeah, yeah.
and Ralph and Kearney. So
Yeah.
like 4 of the kids at the school are all Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. I always enjoy when that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
It seems like it'd be really interesting to watch someone doing that.
Yeah, I know some voice actors can do it all in one take and can like
Yeah.
switch back and forth, and then some need to like do all of the one character
Yeah.
and then swap over and do all of the second character and then
Yeah,
swap
yeah.
over. I don't know how Harry Shearer does it though.
I have no idea. I'm sure if we did our research, we'd probably know. This episode has the first use of Homer's high-pitched fairy voice.
Yeah, it does. I'm a big fan of Homer's high-pitched
I like
voice.
that, yeah.
It also has the first instance of Homer talking to his own brain.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the camera pans up to his brain, and his brain says, "Just give him a fake name. Don't say who you are." And it pans back down to his mouth, and he goes, "I'm Homer Simpson."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Homer's brain, actually, the next point is Brad Bird suggested the camera move when Homer talks to his brain.
Oh, nice, Brad
So
Bird,
yeah.
famous director, directed The Iron Giant and The
Yeah, yeah.
Incredibles and Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
At least one other good film that I can't remember the
Yeah.
name of. Ratatouille.
Is it Ratatouille?
Yep, Ratatouille, and also Mission Impossible 4.
Yeah. Right. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice repertoire there. It's good.
nice oeuvre.
Oh, there we go. Very fancy word there.
Mm.
Yes.
I like to flex sometimes.
Yes, I see. The song Otto hums to himself is Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah, so it is it.
Yeah.
Da, 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 na, 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 na. Copyright.
Yes. This episode includes a first act that is much longer than the normal episode of the show.
Mm-hmm.
The producers were going to end the act with Mr. Burns feeling better, but decided to extend it to show how the Simpsons family was affected.
I think that's a wise decision.
I think so, yeah.
Because having the entire episode be Mr. Burns
being
needs
ill
blood.
and needs blood, yeah.
Homer discovers that Bart has the blood type, convinces Bart to give Mr. Burns his blood, and in third act it's just him feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the conflict?
Exactly, yeah.
Where's the humour? Is the conflict that
Yeah.
it takes longer for Homer to convince Bart? I think that makes the episode a bit more sinister.
Yeah, it does. A little bit more like Bart didn't just give in, and it seems more along the lines of...
It's less that Homer convinces Bart, like, oh, this is why it would be good,
Mhm.
and more Homer pressures Bart,
Yeah,
which is a
yeah.
different thing
Yeah,
entirely.
yeah. Definitely changed the tone of the episode quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boo for that.
Boo for that, and hooray for the way they actually went with it.
Yeah.
It's much better.
I have a little factoid about my life.
Mm.
Regarding the previous point, I, around about 2012,
Mm-hmm.
got into a very heated argument
Right.
regarding whether Tony Stark
Mm.
was a bigger Black Sabbath fan or a bigger AC/DC fan. Now, I argued in favour of Black Sabbath
Right.
because he named himself Iron Man
Yeah.
after this song,
Yeah.
and in the Avengers movie he wears a Black Sabbath t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I maintain that I am correct. I don't care about that character or those films anymore, but I maintain that I was right.
I would argue that you probably are, because it's only, I think, directly correlated to Iron Man or Tony Stark is one instance of playing AC/DC.
He plays Back in Black
I think
in
that's,
Iron Man 2.
Yeah, and that's just to announce his arrival, hijacks his sound system or whatever it is, and
Something like that,
some
yeah.
shit like that, and announces his arrival. But that's the only time that it's got anything to do with AC/DC directly correlating to him.
Mhm.
Everything else, it's just the movie soundtrack is
Yeah.
playing AC/DC,
Aye.
which is great. I love AC/DC. It's a great band.
Yeah.
But I don't think Tony Stark is...
I think he's more of a
I think
Black
he's
Sabbath
more of a
fan.
Black Sabbath fan.
Yeah.
because he's actually got the paraphernalia. He's actually got...
He's named himself.
He's named himself Iron
in
Man.
universe, I guess. I know
Yeah.
that in real life, I think the comic book character came first,
Yeah.
but also Ozzy Osbourne wasn't aware of the comic book character. I think they're unrelated.
Yeah.
But in the Marvel
But-
film world,
Yeah.
Tony Stark is aware of the song Iron Man
Yeah.
and names himself his superhero identity, Iron Man.
Yeah. So I think you are right.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep. So the composition and setting of the scene where Smithers and Dr. Hibbert discuss Mr. Burns' health is particularly...
It's inspired by Citizen Kane.
Ah, right. Yes, there you go.
It is. I clocked that when we were watching it, but I didn't say anything.
Nice.
I won't interrupt the flow of the watching the episode. But yeah, I clocked another Citizen Kane reference,
Nice.
especially in a Mr. Burns scene, which they seem to love to do.
They do, yeah.
There's a lot more going forward. At some point, we should probably... I've seen Citizen
should-
Kane. Have you
yeah,
seen Citizen Kane?
I have seen Citizen Kane.
Okay,
It's
good.
been a long time since
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it. I definitely want to rewatch it at some point, though. So I think we could do a little...
Like a commentary track on Citizen Kane.
I think we should, because what we should really look for is if we can maybe research where the sort of the maximum
Well,
where
it's funny you
where
should
the
say
peak,
that, David.
the drop off of the Citizen
because-
Kane references.
I have a list on my Letterboxd account. Follow me on Letterboxd. Connor
good.
T. Walls.
Mhm.
My full legal name for some reason.
Yeah.
You can find a list on my Letterboxd account of every movie referenced in The Simpsons.
Right. Okay.
It's
Nice.
the movie, and if you go into the notes, it gives you a full breakdown of season and episode, from earliest to latest.
Right. Nice.
And Citizen Kane is on there.
Very good.
So we can use that list.
Yeah. Hell, when we run out of Simpsons episodes.
It's a whole different podcast, mate. We can
We
go through all
can.
the movies. I don't know why I
Yeah.
turned it to Mark Wahlberg for a second there.
I don't know.
It's a whole different podcast. I'm making a sequel to Four Brothers. It's called Five Brothers. I'm going to make a sequel to that. It's Six Brothers.
Fucking hell.
Stay prayed up.
Oh, Jesus.
Stay prayed up. Gotta stay prayed up. Max Payne. It's the Mark Wahlberg film.
Yeah.
And it's Home 3. Where is it? There you go. There's a little bit of Mark Wahlberg for you.
Oh, very good. So, Bart's prank call to Mose is used in Weird Al Yankovic's song Phony Calls, a parody of TLC's Waterfalls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Yeah, I know that song.
Yeah. I can remember Phony Calls as just vaguely. It was one of the ones later on that
One
he
of the ones
did.
I don't really have any memory of.
Yeah.
I know all of his early stuff that everyone
Yeah.
knows, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
like a surgeon.
Yeah.
I think I'm a clone now and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And his more recent stuff.
Party in the
Tacky.
CIA.
Yeah, tacky instead of happy.
Yeah.
I remember those ones.
Yeah. So, Bart and Mr. Burns were stated to have O negative blood,
Yes.
which is not actually a type of blood. It doesn't exist.
Ah,
O negative is an actual blood type, which can be universally given to any recipient.
mhm.
However, those with that blood type have to get O negative from other people. And approximately only 7% of Americans have O negative blood.
You can say only 7% of Americans have tits.
Yeah. I was going to say have type O negative blood.
Type O,
but,
okay, that makes sense.
but that's a sort of British way of saying it. We always say type whatever the fuck.
the correct way.
Yeah.
Aye.
Indeed.
Indeed, indubitably. It's quite rare then. Type O
It
negative. blood.
is quite rare.
And that's a band. Type O negative.
Probably. Do you even know what your blood type is?
Nope.
Nope. Good.
It is type O negative. Oh, yes. Glenn Danzig's band.
Right. Okay.
You know, Glenn Danzig,
Aye.
his band is type O negative.
Right. That's cool. The ghostwriter Mr. Burns hires mentions that he wrote Like Hell I Can't. The title is a play on Sammy Davis Jr.'s autobiography, Yes I Can.
Right. I don't have anything to say on that one.
No, not really.
Nah.
Yeah, well.
Move on.
The episode ends with the family discussing what the message of the episode was, but decide that there was no message. It was just stuff that happened.
Yeah, we clocked that.
Yeah. The writers were having trouble conceiving an ending, but decided that since there was no point, they would discuss it.
Oh, that's
which
interesting.
is a fair way of doing it.
Very funny and meta and insightful.
Yeah.
Okay, David, is that the end of
That is indeed the end of Three Blind Mice Trivia.
Are you not going to do the theme?
We don't do an outro theme. The Three Blind Mice Trivia.
You're a smart man. I could fucking trick you into doing the Three Blind Mice Trivia intro theme.
Nope.
God damn. Next time I hand it over to you, maybe I'll get you to do it.
Maybe. All right, I'll pass the laptop of power back across. Via your asshole, apparently. So, Connor, in regards to this episode, what do you think about the fact that there's basically no point to the episode?
I love it. I
Very
think it's great. It's very unique, especially for the time. A lot of media at that point, especially American media, was geared towards teaching the audience a lesson or some kind of having some kind of moral to the story.
Right, yeah.
And that's kind of faded now.
Yeah.
It still appears sometimes in children's media, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm not saying that the story doesn't have any themes to it.
No.
That's totally different. I'm just saying the kind of message that you feel like you're being force-fed
Yeah.
by these American shows was already worn out by this point and would overstay its welcome for another 15 or so years. And it's present in the other episodes of The Simpsons that we've covered.
Yeah, it is.
But I think it's a breath of fresh air, and especially would have been for people in 1991.
Yeah.
What did you think of that, David? The thing you just asked me about. Throwing the question back onto you here.
Very good. Now that you've very, very accurately summed it up.
Eloquently kind of flapped my gums.
Yeah. And I'll sit here and scratch my balls and go, no, I think it was good. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly in this. I think it's really great the fact that it's an episode that, like you said, does have obviously themes and everything, but it doesn't have a particular point that it's constantly driving home at.
Yeah. Which
there are some episodes where in The Simpsons where there are only like certain acts that have the point they're driving home, and they're nicer. I like those things.
Sometimes it feels like they kind of crowbar them in right at the end.
Yeah. I appreciate that though, because it's like, let's just sort of, sometimes it's just like wrap up the episode with what's the moral? Like I said, this is a very American thing at this time,
especially with 80s cartoons like Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly.
The real Ghostbusters, Thundercats.
All of them, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fucking all of them. And yes, it's just start to finish. You've got to have a point. You've got to have a moral, a message to be telling these people something.
But even though those shows as well were just created to sell toys, there's this other side of the coin, which is that it has to appease the moral panic in America at that point. I don't know if I mentioned it in a previous episode, but Bart Simpson was specifically banned from school. If you showed up to a school and you had a t-shirt with Bart Simpson on it, he'd get kicked out. No, like expelled. But
you would get told to cover it up or
because your t-shirt, because they did t-shirts with Bart Simpson saying like "fuck school" or whatever. It was something specific to do with school. I did have it written down, but God knows where.
But yeah,
lots of class stuff.
Yeah,
and the relationship between not just Homer and Mr. Burns as boss and employee, but Homer and Carl in that one joke.
yeah, exactly. yeah, it's good.
What was your favourite joke in this episode, David?
I think my favourite sort of gag, and the one that popped into my mind just now, is Homer's dream. And he wakes up sucking on the pancakes, which is actually a pillow. Yeah,
and he comes in and eats the same pancakes.
And eats the exact same pancakes. Yeah.
That's a good one. I think mine, there was one I laughed at really hard in the episode that I can't remember now. But the one I guess that popped into my mind when I said your favourite, even though you didn't ask me this question, would be when Homer's talking to Marge. And he's like, darling, I love you. But you live in a fairyland.
Oh, yeah.
Leprechauns and frogs with funny little hats. To go from I love you and then be totally condescending
Yeah. Yeah.
about doing the right thing and helping Mr. Burns. Not because he's rich and you'll get something out of it, but
Because
with the
it's the right
goodness of
thing.
your heart. Because
Yes.
he's another human being.
It's the right thing to do to
Even
help
though he's
an
not
old
a
man.
human being.
No.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And they're not human.
No.
And they should definitely be killed.
Start an uprising. Let's go.
David, it's time for boy, I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Yeah.
I have written down blunder points, which I
Good.
rarely do.
Yeah.
You want to start us off with your blunder points before I take it away with my well-educated, well-informed, written-out essay?
The only thing that I can think of that I would consider a blunder might be encroaching on the territory of your essay here. I'm not sure. Was the continuity error of how the bloody hell would you get that giant stone Olmec head inside the Simpson house?
I did have that as one of my points, but it wasn't the main point.
Right. Okay, that's good. I'm glad I'm not stepping on that.
It didn't occur to me until after we'd watched the episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth noting as well that that head does show up in future episodes in the attic and the basement, depending on the episode.
How in the sweet hell? Like, first off, that house is not holding it in the attic.
No.
It's I don't know if anyone is fully aware of this if they're not American. Almost every one of those bloody houses, especially in places like Springfield,
Mm-hmm.
they are wood-built structures.
Yeah.
It's more wood than there is anything else in that thing.
That's why tornadoes do so much damage in
Yeah.
America. If a
Yeah,
tornado came through the UK, nothing would happen.
yeah, we'd lose a few shingles from the roof.
And a few window panes, probably.
Yeah,
But the buildings themselves would stand.
Yeah, yeah.
Cars would get thrown around.
Yeah. There would be damage, but we wouldn't completely obliterate every building.
If a tornado moved over this house that we're in right now, it wouldn't lift up off the ground and disintegrate.
No. So, yeah, there's no way that giant stone, which is a solid stone head.
We see the cat sleeping on top of it, and it's not like it's hollow like a giant mug, which is what I
Yeah.
thought it was when I was a little boy.
Right.
It's a little boy. I thought it was a giant hollow mug type thing.
Right.
No, it's solid. It's solid
Yep.
stone. I'm surprised it could even withstand being on the ground floor without just going through.
Just disappearing into the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, in real terms, there's no way that thing would be getting in and out of the truck that it got delivered in either.
Yeah.
That is not a likelihood. Certainly not in a wee wooden box like that. It's quite a big box, but still.
I guess it is a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. So. But the continuity error, the main one, is the fact that it could not get inside the Simpson door. The window was not taken out, and even if it was, it wouldn't fit in.
Here's a question for you.
What's that?
When they open it, right, it's in the box, and they open the box, and the box falls apart. It's a wooden box. After that, when you see them eating their TV dinner, right, and the box has been removed,
It's just sitting on the floor.
how did they get the bottom bit of wood from the box that was underneath the stone head out from underneath the stone head?
Maggie lifted it. Because
Okay.
what else?
It must have been a deleted scene that I didn't see. Yeah, I'm glad you have a access to an archive of deleted Simpsons scenes. And not only are you not sharing them with me, but you haven't bothered to bring them up on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Keeping those close to your chest?
Yep.
Okay. The other bits of why I hope someone got fired for that blunder that I have.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Burns thanks Smithers for the kidney he gave him.
Mm-hmm.
Smithers couldn't have given Mr. Burns his kidney because they have different blood types.
Yes. I clocked that actually, now that I even remembered about that being in the episode when you brought it up there. But yeah, I realised that it would be a kidney failure.
Yeah.
Or a failed transplant. Not that they would even try it, but a failed transplant if it did actually get put in, because it would be instantly rejected.
Yeah. When Homer goes to the post office, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Hello, I'm Mr. Burns."
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of a meme spot, by the way, that scene.
Right, yeah.
Kind of meme spot, but not quite meme spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Not worthy of the official name
Yeah.
of the segment. Instead of pretending to be Mr. Burns, Homer could have told the man at the post office his real name and that he had to get back the letter that he mailed by mistake because his
Yes.
name is on the return address.
Yes. Yeah, he could have.
I'm going to say that's not actually a blunder. I'm going to say
No.
Homer's too stupid to think of that.
I would say that's probably the case. And I don't think that Bart would be someone who would know enough about this kind of thing, this adult sort of side of things, that he would
Yeah.
actually have the wherewithal to suggest anything like that. So
Bart's comprehension of adult things shifts episode to episode.
yeah.
What else shifts episode to episode is locations, David. For example, I noticed that in this episode, Homer is escorted out via some form of electric field plant.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
Surrounded by an electric fence right outside of Mr. Burns' office window.
Yep.
However, in other episodes, such as Homer's Odyssey,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Burns' office looks onto the car park / front of the building.
Mm-hmm.
This is also true for the Simpsons game,
Yeah.
or Hit and Run, or whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's Hit and Run, actually.
I feel like it might be, yeah.
Anyway, that's... Yeah, there's a wee blunder for you.
Yeah.
But things move around all the time.
They do, yeah. We've talked about the tree at the Simpsons house moving around all
Yeah.
the time.
The one that I always think of is in the Simpsons movie,
Mm-hmm.
they show Moe's Tavern as being directly next to the church.
Right.
Because there's a joke where when the dome gets put down, everyone who's in Moe's Tavern runs into the church, and everyone who's in the church runs into Moe's Tavern.
Right.
So it's like the Christians take up drinking and the alcoholics repent.
yeah.
Funny joke, but
Yeah.
those buildings aren't next to each other at any other point.
No.
Just a little thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Just a little something to talk about.
Yep.
You got anything else you want to add, David?
No, I have nothing else that I can, I spotted at the time. No.
Well, then it's time for David's one bit of animation that he actually quite liked. This
Yeah.
is the segment on this show where I ask David for one singular bit of animation that he actually quite liked in the episode, and he tells me. David, what was your one bit of animation that you actually quite liked?
Well, Connor, one bit of animation I actually quite liked. Homer's dream. I'm going to go with that. I like a good dream sequence, and it's a really good sort of funny gag, but it also is choking Mr. Burns, and then it just sort of morphs into the maple syrup bottle that he's squeezing onto the pancakes.
And then that morphs into a fork.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
and there's a lot of really good fluid animation in that, and it looks really quite well done.
Very good, David.
Mhm.
That's great. We can wait here all day.
Okay.
Well, David, seeing as you asked, my one bit of animation that I actually quite liked, Connor's one bit of animation,
Mm-hmm.
I believe would have to be my one bit of animation is a very slight bit of animation.
Okay.
It's when Homer's looking for his letter just after your one bit of animation,
Mm.
and he asks Bart if he's seen it,
Mm.
and Bart says, "Yes, I have."
Mm.
And Homer goes, "Remember very carefully, where it was you had."
Mhm.
He goes, "Well, it was in my hands." There's like a little pushing on Bart and a pushing on Homer and a pushing on Bart and a pushing on Homer.
Right.
It's a
Mhm.
very slight bit of animation, very
Yeah.
simple, but I love that.
Very nice camera trickery that's going on. Not trickery, but camera
Movement.
movement. Or if there was a camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Camera movement that sort of adds to the feel of the scene.
Anything else you want to add to this episode, David? Any final thoughts?
It's the final episode.
End of season 2.
Yep.
Did you notice that when they go into the banjo shop, the Alabama store,
Mm-hmm.
Smithers playing the banjo is a reference to the movie Deliverance?
I didn't notice that, no.
You know the banjo scene,
Yeah,
Deliverance, famous banjo scene?
Yeah.
That's a reference to Deliverance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the scene where Smithers goes to offer his blood to Mr. Burns and he rips his
His
jacket,
suit
his shirt, and
shirt.
his tie off
Yeah.
in one swift move?
Yeah, with almost no effort.
He must be wearing paper clothes.
Yeah, that is a freakishly strong guy.
Anything else to mention, David?
Nah.
We didn't really talk about the subplot in this episode, which is Lisa's trying to teach Maggie some words.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't really come up. Doesn't really.
We didn't even talk about it.
She teaches her dodecahedron. Which is
Yeah,
another bit of a meme spot.
Yeah.
I think there's another episode where they think that Maggie's a genius and she gets into like a smart kindergarten.
I think so, yeah.
And Lisa's doing this card thing again, but she ends up trying to teach her the wrong thing
Mm.
because she feels as though her identity as the smart Simpson has been robbed.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that episode, I think. Yeah.
And in my memory of the episode, when Bart goes to give blood, there's a huge queue
Mm.
of employees also trying to give their blood for Mr. Burns' money,
Yeah.
even though they don't have the right blood type.
Yeah. Maybe. There's some like crossover between episodes, obviously, but there's a lot of them, so
Over 700.
probably by now. I don't know.
You should know, you're on a Simpsons podcast.
Yeah, we don't know anything about The Simpsons.
Using we there.
Yeah.
How many episodes if you had to give it a ballpark, David?
756.
Ooh. Did you look this up beforehand?
No, I just came out with 756.
You're certain you didn't Google it beforehand?
I have not Googled this at any point.
It's a good job because you're fucking wrong. 768.
I'm not far off though. That's good.
Oh.
Nice.
That's all 35 seasons
Right.
as of May 19th, 2024.
Very good. Yeah, the subplot, there was one point that we sort of commented on when we were watching the episode of the fact that Lisa's been teaching Maggie words or trying to teach Maggie words with little sort of cards.
Yeah.
And when the head gets delivered, the Olmec head gets delivered, and the box popped open, Maggie crawls over with an Aztec card.
Yes, aye.
And instead of congratulating her on the fact that she just got it slightly wrong,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that was a really good attempt and you understood something about it, so, well done. Lisa's like, no, Maggie, that's wrong. It's the Olmec, not the Aztec.
Yeah.
Just like, all right. Just barely got it wrong, but
Aye. She's only a baby who can't even walk.
yeah.
Well, David, I think it's time to wrap the episode up.
Yeah,
there.
I think so.
This has been Insert Brain here, a Simpsons podcast. I've been your host, Connor, and with me, begrudgingly, has been my co-host, David.
That's me.
We've just talked about Season 2, Episode 22, Blood Feud.
Yep. Final episode.
We'll be back next week with a very special episode in which we rank every episode in Season 2.
That is correct.
All 22 of them from worst to best.
Mm-hmm.
You can follow us on Instagram at InsertBrainHerePod or on Twitter at T422. Check out our website, insertbrainhere.podcastpage.io. Check out our YouTube channel where we upload this podcast.
Yep.
Follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else that it's uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
And like and subscribe on YouTube and give this podcast 5 stars on the website of your choice, the podcast host of your choice. It really helps us out.
It does.
And if you go to our website and leave a little voice message, we'll listen to it on air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Totally raw. We won't pre-listen to it so we know what we're going to say.
No lube.
No lube.
Yep.
You heard it here first, folks. No lube. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good. Smell you later.
Smell you later. Tatty bye. This has been a T422 production.
Yeah, that's the one.
This has been a T422 production.
Otherwise, we'll be getting snapped in half by a gorilla.
Okay, that's fine.